Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are actually in the West Haven election party headquarters in West Haven, Connecticut, and we will be reporting live primary results that will be happening here in Connecticut and nationwide. So stay tuned. Hey, everybody, please like and share. Get these videos out there so that people are aware of the primary results. We're going to be reporting to you live. We're here in West Haven. We're going to celebrate here for the West Haven Democrats. Win, lose, or draw. This is really about just ensuring everyone had their voice heard in this primary season. We're going to cover a lot, so stay tuned. Please like and share. We're going to be giving updates as we go along. This is Exploring Democracy with DBJ, and I'm your host, Daryl Brackeen Jr. So feel free to comment, and if you have election results from your local municipality in the respective states and places, feel free to comment as well. This is a very interactive moment, and we're going to report information as we go along today. As we know, Connecticut is one of the states that has primary results being reported. There were no elections for governor, lieutenant governor, but there were elections down the ballot. In particular, the treasurer, the state treasurer, and the Secretary of State were both contested elections. And of course, there are down ballot elections that are happening as well. And we will get into that live coverage shortly. The polls have just closed. It is 8 p.m. in the state of Connecticut. The primary has just closed, and we should be expecting results shortly. But while we do that, I'm asking each and every one of you to please share this video so that we could get this information out and about in the World Wide Web. Please like and share. This is going to be a very interesting night. So first, we'll start with the Connecticut Democratic primary for the Secretary of State's office. The two candidates that were running in the primary as Democrats was New Haven Health Director Maritza Bond and current state representative Stephanie Thomas of Norwalk, Connecticut. And those votes should be coming in very soon. We also had a Republican primary for Secretary of State, and those candidates were Dominic Rapini and Representative Terry Wood. So we expect those results to come in shortly as well. Look, so as expected for a summer primary, it was an extremely low turnout from all narratives that we've received. And we believe that it's going to be a very tight race for both Democrats and Republicans in the state of Connecticut. Also, other primaries that are happening across the nation include Minnesota, Vermont, Wisconsin, and that's it, just 4 today. So we will also be reporting live concerning that as well. In case you're wondering why I keep looking over, it's because I'm actually looking at my board of results here to try to report to you live the expected results. So you should know, if you'd like to play the game along with me, I will be viewing MSNBC, NPR, and I'll zoom in on some local papers such as the New Haven Independent, the New Haven Register, and other local news outlets as we go along. So we are expectantly awaiting the results, the Connecticut results, shortly as the polls are officially closed as of 8 p.m. Please like and share. And in case you're wondering where I am reporting live here in West Haven, and I'll be celebrating with the West Haven Democrats on today, where there was also a state representative primary race as well. And we will report live on those results as soon as we receive them. So again, there were primaries all across um, the nation over the last few weeks. Here today, the 9th, there are 4 states that have primaries here in the U.S. It's Connecticut, Wisconsin, Vermont, um, and Minnesota. So we're going to report to you live those results. We're just expectantly awaiting what those numbers look like. So once I know, I'll be sure to let you know what's happening. Again, be sure to like, share as we report in the live results of the key primaries across the nation, including the state of Connecticut. Um, and also, this is participatory. So if you'd like to comment and provide us some results that you might get that I might not receive, that would be awesome too, and we can definitely do this together. This is participatory, and that's the whole point of democracy, right? We're supposed to do this together. We're supposed to activate participation, and it's my hope that I can just get this information to you clear and quickly as possible. So like everyone else, we are awaiting the result of the Connecticut primary, and I'm reporting to you live here in West Haven at the West Haven Democrats headquarters for their election results. There is a primary for state representative here in West Haven, the incumbent, and a challenger, and we're awaiting those results as well. And also, I failed to mention there's a state race for treasurer as well. Dita Bagarbra and Eric Russell and Karen DeBose Walton are all running for state treasurer today. And for the Republican Party, there was no primary. They have nominated their candidate, Harry Aurora. And there were also state house races in the state of Connecticut. In District 16, Democrat Eric Wellman and Melissa Osborne in District 16. And the Republicans did not have a primary. They have nominated their candidate, Mike Payne. In District 34 of the state of Connecticut, the Democratic primary is John Olin and Kurt Kaminsky. And the Republican Party nominated their candidate. There was no primary, and the name is Irene Haynes. Also, in District 69, Republicans had a primary, Cindy Harrison and Jason Buxbaum. That's District 69 in the state of Connecticut. District 78, Joe Hoxa and Aileen Abrams. The Republicans in a primary running in the 78th district. District 98 in the state of Connecticut, Mariah Rader and Andrew Gottlieb. And the Republicans do not have a candidate running today. And where I am, actually here in West Haven, in the West Haven Electoral Results Center, there is a primary in District 116, Representative Trenae McGee and challenger Joseph Miller. The Republican Party has nominated their candidate, therefore there's no primary. Their name is Aaron Haley. And then the last district in the state of Connecticut, District 127, there is a primaries, Jack Hennessy and Marcus Brown in Bridgeport. And the Republican candidate has been nominated. Therefore, there is no primary for the Republicans. So that is the update here for the state of Connecticut. Reporting to you live here in West Haven, where the election results will be presented for the State House Challenge 116. So this is Exploring Democracy. I'm Daryl Brackeen. I'm an alder person in the city of New Haven that's simply wanting to explore democracy with each and every one of you, provide opportunities to get involved, provide information, provide transparency in an easy, simple way so that you can know what's actually happening in your cities, your towns, your state, and the nation. So stick with us for the remainder of the night. In case you're wondering why I keep looking over here, it's because my laptop is over here and I'm reviewing those results as they come in. Hopefully one day we can get enough support so I can have a big board, the likes of those of CNN and MSNBC, and report on those districts on a big board one day. But for now, I'm just going to use my good old laptop, all right? So please like and share. And also, if you have any inside information, please feel free to comment. This is participatory, like every Democratic event. And we're also going to report on primary results in 3 other states, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Vermont. And throughout the summer, as you probably realize, there's buckets of states that have primaries throughout the summer in order to prepare for the November general election. This is the midterm election, which is very determinative of what will happen and how it could shape national politics as well. So we're going to keep our eye to the pulse of things on that as we move along as well. So please stay tuned as we receive these results. Okay. We have the results, folks. The results are in. The election results for the state of Connecticut are in, and they are reporting to you live here in West Haven. And we are going to present these numbers right now. So all right, we're going to report the numbers right now for the state of Connecticut primaries across the board. Okay. For the Republican Party, who had a primary for the U.S. Senate, we're reporting that Leora Levy has won that primary race at 54.2%, and Themis Clarides at 33.76%. But before I continue, I want to make sure that these results are actually the correct final number. So please bear with me. So as of 8 o'clock, the polls are closed, and we'll soon learn what the future holds in the state of Connecticut concerning our November election and how that'll impact our national politics as we go along. So hold on one second, folks. I just want to make sure and confirm that these results are the final results, and that we're not going to have a surprise later. And also, if you want to help participate in helping our fellow citizens and receiving these results, feel free to comment as well. We are also going to zoom in on a local news paper, the New Haven Independent, which has provided a great local perspective for a very long time. So we will await those results at a micro level Okay, it's too early to call. Precincts are still presenting their numbers, and I will report what those final numbers are shortly. Again, this is primary night with Exploring Democracy, and I'm the host, Val Brackeen. And I am, in case you're wondering where all the music is coming from, they're preparing for the election results here in the town of West Haven, in West Haven, Connecticut, and the West Haven Democrats await the election results. So please like and share so that we can continue to provide information. So actually, I'm going to provide some of these initial results. I'm just going to let you know now, these are not the final results. For the Secretary of State race, Democrat Stephanie Thomas is in the lead at the moment at 70.9%, and Marissa Bond at 29.1%, and that's at the moment. As for State Treasurer, what's reported at the moment is 55% for Eric Russell, 23% for Karen DeBose Walton, and 21.4% for Dita Bavarva. And we're still waiting for the remainder of those votes to be submitted. And also, there is a big battle that has been steaming in District 23, the state of Connecticut, in Bridgeport, against Democrats Dennis Bradley and Heron Gaston. And those votes have yet to be reported as of right now. And there are some state representative districts that are reported. And these are not the final results. These are just initial numbers. So we will let you know when the final results are in. But as of right now, it is what it is. So we have in District 34 at the moment, John Olin in the lead at 89% against Kurt Kaminsky, who has 11% at the moment. Stay tuned as we report live results around the state of Connecticut. And now we're going to make our first attempt to give you some updates on how the elections are going in the other states. The next state to report in would be Vermont, as polls close there. So let's review the state of Vermont as it stands right now. Okay, so only 9.1% of the vote has been submitted for the Republicans at the moment in the state of Vermont. Phil Scott is in the lead at 69%. Stephen Bellows at 17%. Peter Duval at 12%. As those are reporting in, there's only been 9% of the vote counted in the state of Vermont for the Republican primary there. Then we'll move right along to the U.S. Senate race in Vermont. They do have a Democratic primary there, as the senator has since moved on. Peter Welch is in the lead at the moment with only 18.6% of the votes counted at the moment at 85%. And the other challengers are actually at a very far distance at 9.9% for Isaac Evans France and Nikki Strawn at 5%. So Peter Welch is in the lead with only 18.6% of the count, the votes counted. As for the U.S. Senate race in Vermont, the Republican primary that is happening, we have Gerald Malloy with 43.4% of the vote in, with only 8% of the votes counted. Christina Nolan at 37%, and Myers Mermel at 19.6%. Again, this is the Vermont Republican primary for governor, with Gerald Malloy in the lead at 43.4%. There were primaries for the U.S. House in District 1 primary in the state of Vermont, where we have 62.8% of the vote, with only 25% of the votes counted, with Becca Balint, who was in the lead in that race. As for the U.S. House, Vermont District 1 for the Republican primary, Liam Madden is in the lead with 40%, with only 8.2% of the vote counted there. And the state of Vermont, there is also a Secretary of State's race for Democrats as well. And in the lead is Sarah Copeland, Kansas. She has about 41% of the vote at the moment, with only 19% of the votes counted at this time. And for Secretary of State, the Republicans did not have a primary in Vermont for this candidate, so they ran uncontested. So that's the news we have at this point in the state of Vermont, with only about 10% of the votes haven't been counted at this time. All right, so we're on the East Coast, so Connecticut and Vermont are the only states that would be reporting at this moment, as we expectedly await for the time zones of Wisconsin and Minnesota to happen as well down the line. It's very likely that I will change my location at that point in order to report those results due to the time zones that we have. Now, in case you're wondering where I am in West Haven, Connecticut, at the election results party for the West Haven Democrats, where there is a contested race for Democrats here in the 116th district. And we are expectedly awaiting those results with the West Haven Democrats. And we're going to check in on what those results look like at this point. So stay tuned. Please like and share. If you have more information to share, feel free to comment as well. Okay. So all right, looks like about 3% of the vote has been expected to vote in this election. And right now, individuals that are in the lead for Secretary of State at 76% right now at the moment, not official results right now, is Representative Stephanie Thomas, and Marissa Bond is at 23.4% at the moment. Again, all the results have not been reported. For the Republican race of Secretary of State, Dominic Rapini, he's reported at 56.5%, and Representative Terry Wood is currently at 43.5%. Again, this is not the final result. The final results have not been submitted. For state treasurer, the Democratic ticket, we have Eric Russell, who is in the lead at 57%, Dita Barbara at 22%, and Karen Bowles Walton at 19.5%. Again, all the results have not been reported. This is just what we have at the moment that's been counted. We'll be sure to clarify who has won this race soon. For the state Senate, there were a few, actually it was just one. Yes, only one contested primary in the city of Bridgeport, District 23. A hotly contested race. Incumbent Dennis Bradley against Haran Gaston. And nothing has been reported from the city of Bridgeport at this time concerning that race for the Democrats. And again, the Republicans did not have a primary because they chose their candidate for the November general election. And all the other state Senate districts were uncontested. So all of those candidates will be headed to the general November election with Republican opponents. Now in the state house in the state of Connecticut, District 16, we have no results reported as of this moment. District 34, again, John Olin is still in the lead at 81% versus Kurt Kaminsky at 18.6%. And again, the final result is not in as yet. And now we'll skip down, and it does not appear that any other contested primary districts have reported as of yet. So stay tuned. We will be sure to let you know when those results have been put in. We are getting steady updates as we go along here. I just want to thank each and every one of you for supporting, liking, and sharing, and providing your friends and family an opportunity to be updated on this election. So we're reporting to you live here in the town of West Haven, and we are checking in on the results of the primaries here in the state of Connecticut, as well as the 3 other primaries nationwide. Feel free to like, share, and join in on the conversation as well as we await those results. Actually, enjoying myself in the town of West Haven at the West Haven Democrats election results party. Please like and share. Please like and share as we expectantly await the results here in the state of Connecticut. So we know this is a midterm election across the nation in anticipation to see what happens in November. But in the states that we're seeing today, minus Minnesota and Wisconsin, a lot of these elections are going to be determinative of the Joe Biden agenda and what he can actually get done over the last 2 years of his term. But the state of Connecticut will not be determinative of that in this primary season. All the candidates do have Republican opponents in the general election. So we are still waiting for the final results. And while we do that, we are going to share with you the NPR Connecticut results as they are being updated. You will see here that the U.S. Senate race, Connecticut Democrat Richard Blumenthal did not have an opponent, but there is a hotly contested Republican race that is happening in the state of Connecticut, where we have reported through AP that there will be less than 35% of the votes that have been counted at the moment. And Leora Levy is leading that Republican race at 51.5%. Themis Paredes at 38% there as well. The governors in the race did not have any opponents, so this is going to be a big repeat election for Ned Lamont and Bob Stefanowski again. It's a repeat race that we really have seen before. And we have here the U.S. House, which is vitally important in the midterm elections because it also dictates what agenda the president will get done along with Congress. All the races are uncontested here in the state of Connecticut. And the only individual that's missing from this screen is Jahana Hayes. And they will all have Republican opponents in the fall. It is the same for the GOP primary. They will be running against all Democratic incumbents here in the state of Connecticut. And then we'll move over to the Connecticut Insider, which is steadily reporting the results of this election here in the state of Connecticut. And we steadily await those final results. It is updating at the moment, so we'll be able to see what has been reported at this time. Again, Republican Leora Levy is still in the lead at 51% in the Republican primary for U.S. Senate. Secretary of State Republican Dominic Rapini is still in the lead at 57% reporting. For Secretary of State Democrat Stephanie Thomas is in the lead at 71%. And Marissa Bonds at 22.9%. For State Treasurer, we have Eric Russell still in the lead at 57%. Dita Bagarva at 22%. And Karen DeVos Walton at 20%. And remember, just a reminder, these are not the final results. The results have not been submitted as of yet. So we are expectantly awaiting those results shortly. And as I kind of scroll through here, we can also see that not many of the state house races have reported. It is still very early, and we will be sure to get that information to you live. Let's hop on over to the state of Minnesota, whose election has not closed as of yet because they are in a different time zone. But there is a special congressional election which is determinative of what's going to happen for the midterm election and really determining the agenda for President Joe Biden moving forward and what he will do as he wraps up his first term. And as these results load, in the state of Minnesota, what we are expecting, those polls will close 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So in 30 minutes, we will begin to see those Minnesota results reported through NPR. That is who we are utilizing today as our vetted source to present the right results for you. So the Democratic primary for governor includes Tim Walz and Ole Savior. Republican candidates in this primary include Bob Carney, Scott Jensen, and Joyce Lacey, who we talked about in our first uh, podcast a few days ago. If you haven't checked out Exploring Democracy with DBJ, I have to tell you, you've got, I'm going to stop sharing the screen because that's so how important this is to me. You've got to like and share and follow Explore Democracy with DBJ. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, anywhere you can find podcasts. That is exactly where we are. And look, here's my mission. It's been my life's mission as a public servant, an educator, and somebody who's been on the grind and on the ground for a very long time. We have got to understand how our democracy works and provide the transparency to our citizens and about how our government works and how our elections work and why it's so important that you get involved in these campaigns moving forward. So I'm going to take a moment right now just to ask you, hey, go to Spotify, follow us, add us to your podcast list. We are going to continue to provide great information, educational information, and sometimes some inside scoop on what's going on behind the veil of government and provide that transparency in order for each and every one of you to make informed decisions on what's going on in our country. So we're going to continue with our Minnesota results, but I had to stop for a moment just to make a plug to the podcast. Like and share. Please follow. Also, add us to your podcast favorites if you like, okay? In case you're wondering where we are right now, just to repeat it once more, we're in the town of West Haven with the West Haven Democrats, and they are preparing for their election results. This is a contested district, the 116th district, where Representative Shernay McGee and challenger Joseph is going head-to-head here in terms of the Democratic primary. So let's get back on over to Minnesota, which is very determinative of the agenda moving forward for the president over the next 2 years. If he loses seats in the House and in the Senate, that will become problematic for the president to get the agenda done. So what's happening in Minnesota and Wisconsin tonight will be greatly determinative of what's going to happen in the future. So the governor's Republican primary race, as I already stated, Bob Carney, Scott Jensen, Joyce Lacey. And again, those results will not be reported until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for Attorney General, there is a primary. Attorney General Keith Ellison, who is the incumbent, is going against Bill Don. And the Republican Party has a primary as well. It's a three-way primary. Sharon Anderson, Jim Holtz, and Doug Wardlaw. And actually, let me share my screen again so that you can follow along with me on what's going on in Minnesota. All right. So for Secretary of State in Minnesota, again, these results will be reported at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Steve Simon going against Steve Carlson. Wow, two Steves running against each other. That must have been confusing on the ballot. We'll see how those results come in later. All right, then we have for the Republican race, Secretary of State's race, Minnesota Republicans, Kim Crockett and Eric Van Melken. And again, Minnesota's first congressional district will cast their ballots in both a special election to fill the remainder of late Representative Jim Hagman's term in a primary seat. All right? So that's going to be very determinative of what's happening in terms of the Biden agenda and trying to retain that seat. So we're going to hop back over to the state of Vermont. we're going to hop back over to the state of Vermont, which is very competitive. Actually, before we go to Vermont, let's get an update on Connecticut's races, contested races. And it appears that the primary results are still standing pretty similarly as we saw before. Let's check out NBC News and their report to see for the reports there. And it is still too early to call, according to NBC News, in both the Secretary of State's races for Democrats and Republicans. So we're going to hop on over to the Connecticut primary results and just seeing what early returns are coming in. The latest news, according to CT Insider, is that John Olin is poised to win the Democratic nomination to be the state House representative of the 34th district after it was shortly called at 8:30 p.m. Olin, who is a progressive, promised to tamp down development and support bodily anatomy as abortion rights are challenged nationally. All right. So it appears that this race will be called in the 34th district for John Olin to represent the state house in East Hampton and East Haddam. So we're going to skip on over to see what we have. Again, in the hotly contested race in state senate, there are still no results reported for the race of Dennis Bradley and Haran Gaston. So we will see what results are reported there. And it appears that all the other districts still stand where they were before. Let's hop on over to the city of New Haven, which is my hometown, to see what the micro results are determinative of how the state may go or not go. We'll see. We'll see. So we're going to give a shout out to the New Haven Independent on their primary election results as they're reported right now. All right, folks. We're going to remain live for as long as we can. It's going to get really noisy really quickly, but we're going to try to get the results. We're still going to stay live. We're going to keep the screen on, but the audio will go off soon enough because it's going to get really loud here pretty shortly. So stay tuned, stay with us as we continue to present to you the information as we get it. It's going to be a long night, folks. All right. Hey, everybody. We are still waiting on the election results. In the state of Connecticut, only 3% of the vote is in. It's going to be a long night, folks. We're going to try our best to try to get as much information to you as possible. Um, so, but as it stands right now, as the results load, um, the candidates who were in the lead are still in the lead. So for Secretary of State, Democrat Stephanie Thomas has been commanding lead at 77%, but again, only 3% have been reported. State Treasurer Eric Russell is still in the lead at 57%. U.S. Senate Leora Levy is still at 50%. Secretary of State Dominic Rapini is still at 58%. And again, Minnesota and Wisconsin have not reported their results because the polls are not closed. They'll be closed at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned to what is going on there. And in case you're wondering where we are with the West Haven Democrats in West Haven, Connecticut. And we're reporting from the Democrats' election results event party, of which there is a contested race in District 116. And once we get those results, we will let you know what's happening there. So, folks, it's going to be a very long night. as the results are trickling in very slowly. But one thing I can tell you is that turnout was extremely low for the August primary. So it's going to be very determinative. These margins are going to be very slim by the end of the night. But we will be sure to come back to you once those results are done. Um, as a matter of fact, we are going to jump off the air, and then we're going to come back to you once we have more significant results to report to you. The only states that are reported is Vermont and Connecticut, and Minnesota and Wisconsin will be coming out in about. They'll be closing the polls in about 10 minutes, but it will take a while for those states to report those results as well. So join us again once we go live. You'll get the notification, and we'll be right back with Exploring Democracy with DBJ.